Alright. What's up, Benjamin?
What's up, Eli?
How are you doing, my guy?
I'm alright, how are you?
What's up to the Mavericks out here? Man, welcome back from Ginger, bro. How was everything?
For me, last week was a whole bender, so when you say Ginger, you're saying all of the weekend.
Okay. Weekend was blessed for me, not too bad. Alright, let's jump into it. Today we have with us Mr. Kella McKenzie. He's been such a good guy to really jump on the Maverick podcast and just grace us with his presence today.
Yeah.
Talk to us, Mackenzie.
I wish I had just 30% of his weekend. Yeah, then maybe I could say I had a blast as well. But yeah, mine has been work. It's a blessing to be here. Thank you for having me.
Cheers. Thanks for showing up as well. Today we are diving into a very interesting topic. Just want to talk about our influencers and their impact, opportunities and the challenges. So this influencer thing right before COVID hadn't really picked up much, but
at least not in Uganda.
But during COVID, when we got into COVID and we were really bored, a lot of people got creative in how they kept us company. On TikTok, Instagram, and we were always on our phones by that data, and it really evolved though. It's really been a thing.
The most definitely. I think for me, 2013, I started a company called Kella PR, and I like to believe it was the first social media marketing company in Uganda at the time, and the idea was to market on social media. There was nothing like influencing, ambassador or anything. We just
social media
get guys going, get guys going. So the idea was marketing artists and things like that. And I noticed that I used to do events, and thankfully for me, I was on radio, and so my radio listeners were my influencers for my events. That was my first ever time to understand the power of influencing and trending #1 on Twitter for my events and things like that. That was my first eye-opening. So I think COVID made it more lucrative for the mass market. It broadened and became a more corporate entity for many people. It was not a thing for a few people in some office or people who have a plug. It was now kind of like for a lot more people who wanted to be a part of it. So yeah, I think I experienced the evolution from 2013. It's just mind-blowing. I enjoy seeing what is happening so far.
Taking that into like the spaces we're in, the hospitality spaces. When I was working in my time, I really jumped on one of those theme nights of yours, Mix and Grill, that evolved from when it was at Sky Lounge. I think those were really big theme night events. That really, you revolutionized Sunday. But Kella really did something big with Sundays, man. Every Monday morning I'm passing by EXO and guys are still working.
EXO is a problem for me. I remember always coming late for work on Mondays, looking tired on Mondays.
Good times. I mean, I think for me, again, it goes into the whole influencer idea of it, because I got into the business thinking I have ideas of how a great Sunday night will be, but I'm a guy from Barasha, man. Like for me, I'm from Nyamitanga. Kampala here is a place I hustle. It's like I have very few BFFs. You know what I mean? But thank God for the industry and connecting with a lot of people. I had a chance to connect with the industry, heads. Thanks to something that I created, which is the Kilogram Silent Disco situation. So I had like all these different DJs, and these different DJs were the influencers for my events. So like coming up with a Sunday was a bit easy for me, because I was just like, I need my niggas to come and chill. And so it was more like, guys, we're on this Sunday, and everyone would jump on board. And I noticed that I was working with Selector J, and I wanted Selector J to be the influencer of the brand Mix and Grill. So I made him a host. It's not like I didn't have very many DJs to work with. I just wanted him to be the guy who is professional. He doesn't get drunk. You will not see him with women dancing in the night. He was kind of a different guy. And so I felt like that was the perfect person to work with on a brand like Mix and Grill. So he was the first, I would say, more of an ambassador than influencing. And so, my events and in the hospitality, I got to see how influencing was working for me, because it was just a matter of me getting some of these people that are interested in my idea, but I give them good content. So, for example, I was one of the first people to heavily work on photography for events. I worked with a guy called Access Films. He's no longer here. He's in South Africa now, but I worked with Raymond Afri Art. And what we used to do is make sure that these beautiful girls who come have to have the most fire pictures, because these are the influencers of your next gig. And that was not there before. Now it's there. Everyone's like, of course you have pictures. No, it was not there before.
Yeah.
So for me, I have seen the power of influence in different demographics of the business, the entity, but hospitality definitely on top, because it is one of the places where you can find people who you can pay to influence, but also those who you interest in your product that is so good and they influence for you subliminally without even paying them.
So, Kella, what a lot of people confuse influence being an influencer. So what's influence for you, or can you distinguish for people between influencing and having influence?
Yeah, so you are never going to be an influencer if you don't have influence, that is for sure. You need to have some sort of a command on your audience or the industry in which you're influencing. So I think, number one, you definitely have to be a person that is influential. You need to be able to have some credibility within you, that people can attach the value of whatever you're marketing with you. So that is very important. But I think today, influencers, he laughed. Let me explain this, There are chaps who you see and you're like, but you're influencing. We can see you're influencing. Why are you influencing? Like, stop showing us you're influencing. You're not being influential. We see you're influencing. That it's like, if you went into a supermarket and you saw a guy who was trying to sell you Omo, you'd be like, guy, why are you selling me Omo? It's there on the till. I can see if I want to get it. Yeah. But then you will see someone who passes by and you'll be like, Panangi, you guys, I've just bought this Omo, and it was like, you'll be like, where is the till? That's an influencer.
All right.
So there's a lot of influencers. One of my favorite influencers in Uganda has always been B-Wall. B-Wall will hit you He will do some sort of a post, and you won't see where he's going until he hits you with like a caption at the end.
True.
And I found that very interesting. So it's important that if you want to be an influencer, you need to have influence, of course. You have to be an influential person. But I think today we have lost the definition of influencer per se, because now it seems like if you have a guy who has the gig and he can give you a plug and you got some money, you start posting on Twitter. That's not influence.
Before we go too far, just want to give a shout out to our sponsor for the show today, The Drop in Myenga.
Nice.
Thanks to Sharita for giving us this wonderful space.
Nice.
Wednesdays is their quiz night, so we always have amazing prizes to be won. 100k voucher is up for grabs for the winners. Let's visit The Drop Myenga. I'll drop the handles, I'll drop the socials in the link below.
Influence. Influence, Maverick.
Yes. We are Maverick. As we move forward, what do you think of the impact in terms of brand marketing? How has influencing today changed marketing in general?
Budgets have cut. These guys have cut budgets from the original times. I work on radio, and you have less budgets for radio because the guys have influencers. And I like what specifically UBL has been doing. They have some products that are niche, like you find the influencers of Baileys are not your everyday person. And you're like, okay, that's really nice. Gordon's, you see a guy who's doing Gordon's, you're like, okay, these guys are doing it a little bit differently. So I see brands that work, but what I have seen that I am totally against is brands that look for celebs to attach their brand with. At some point, I was against it because I felt like you look for a celebrity that has numbers online, and you just plug your product in there, and normally that will not be influential for you. It's like, for example, if you're driving on the road and you see a billboard, the billboard is not going to influence you into buying the product.
True.
But it gives you awareness. So I feel like I would rather go to Spice Diana and I say, can I buy space on your page for 2 weeks? I want to pay this amount for 3 posts, and I pay you that. I'm getting awareness. But if I attach my brand with yours and we sign a contract where you're my ambassador influencer, chances are that your actions might affect my brand in the long run, because you're just a celeb. It doesn't mean that you have the influence that can work for my brand.
True.
So I think there's been a disconnect between brand visibility and brand influencing, whereby we have a lot more people who are billboards on social media than influencers, whereby because you have numbers, so we pay you some money. Like right now, Alien Skin is big, so you find Riam calls Alien Skin, we're giving you bambucha, you're going to promote bambucha. Okay, so he does that, but if a rock boom got Alien Skin, it would make more sense. Does that make like so I feel like there's been a lack of brand relevance, in sense of like the brand finding its right person and they stick with that person. I've not seen so many ideas like that, which I would really love to see, because I think it helps our industry. We have had a lot of people in the past, like Michael Ross was a brand ambassador and influencer for Motorola.
Okay.
And you would see that Michael Ross is this cool guy and Motorola is this cool brand. So you kind of mix the two of them.
Flip phone.
Yeah, you kind of feel like, okay, these two could work. But today, you see the brands and it's
Just
a
the
huge
numbers.
disconnect, just numbers.
So how do you think people can do it differently?
It has to go to the brands. It has to go to the brands, because it can't really be about, if you call me and you want to give me money, I'm not going to refuse the money. You get, like, I'm not going to refuse, even if I know that I'm not going to do the job diligently. I want money. I mean, the hassle of it. So it has to be the brands. We have a lot of brand managers that are not aware of the community and the society and how it rolls. They don't know Umuntu Awansi and how to relate to them. So the brand manager doesn't know how this brand works with this specific person. It all goes back to the brand at the end of the day. So if the brands don't have the right, brand structure and understanding who fits in which area, it will be a big problem. And then also agencies. There are very many agencies that have a guy that knows a guy that knows the other guy. They hook the guy up with a gig name at a brand. So I've been having issues with that. So it's like, I don't want to go deep in and hit some people, but tourism has been having a very big problem because of the same thing. You see a guy, you're like, but who are you, an influencer for Explore Uganda? But you never know, the person has a connection with the agency, has a connection with, you understand? And that's how Kampala is. So it has to really go back to the brands and the entities that are hiring this.
So on top of that, when we move away from these brands and the gig plugs, how about these people that want to be brand influencers and sort of brand ambassadors? What would you tell them? Because like you say, they have numbers, but then that's just
it.
Yeah. So what do I do for myself to get where?
It's very
what
difficult.
It's
very difficult. I have to be honest. It's very difficult because obviously, again, you need numbers. It's not like you have to be influential. So at the end of the day, you need to have some numbers with you. But I think placement is important. Is there a bar where people go to dance on tables so that they give them gigs? I've been seeing that on Twitter. Is this true? Like, people go there and they do Michael Jackson and they get a gig tomorrow. I don't think that's the way to go. I think there's brand placement that is important. As a brand, as an influencer, you need to know what you want to work for. You need to have your targets set. I will use my example as McKenzie. I have influenced very few brands because of one thing. 2010, I, in my mindset, decided that I'm going to be an inspirational type of person, inspirational type of celebrity, or inspirational type of personality in the business of media. And so my posts have always been inspirational, educative, less to do with chakala vibes. Even if I've worked in the bar business, many people know me for mental health awareness and all these different things. My show is literally called Kella Kumacha because it is an inspiring experience. So the people that have contacted me before to do their influencing have been Ambition Mission and Fly, which is the Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation. And they were calling me because they wanted me to work specifically in the behavioral change business. And I understood that the only reason as why they came to me was because I had actually done the foundational work, whereby they already know that I'm capable of doing this work. They know that I'm involved in this work. There's no way a bar is going to call you to influence them if they have never seen you in a bar, or at least posting a poster of some specific bar. So there's an importance of positioning yourself in the right places to get the gigs, but also I think it's important that you are, as an individual, are already influential enough that people see that they want to tap into your audience.
I wanted to know, Mackenzie, what's been have you been trolled before? What's one of the biggest challenges you face? You have faced, like, put it on us.
My guy.
Real life experience.
Maybe you've just joined Twitter recently.
Like yesterday.
No, check my bio.
I don't want to go into family matters. My own baby mama once trolled me on social media. And when she did, we resolved it. But when she did, it kind of caused me a problem. Some brands started seeing you a little different. It happens, and social media can troll you to the point that you start thinking, maybe I'm this person people think I am.
True.
It can start making you think that maybe what these people are saying.
Second guessing yourself.
Yeah, you're like, man, am I really a fake guy on the streets? Like, people don't, mess with me. I think what has helped me is work on me heavily, and I would not put this on anyone else. Trolling will work. I'm very sure if His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni dared look through his comments, he would question himself. He'd be like, never know what's It can make you run mad, by the way. Social media trolling can be a big problem, and I see a lot of influencers suffering through it. But I've seen those who look at it as trolling, just as that, and they maneuver through and swim through. Because I think that if you are in any sort of business, even if it's like for me as a radio presenter, I have had very many people call me and tell me how my show is amazing. But I've had a lot of people who have also told me how I'm not doing a good job. I've been in the influencing on a brand ambassadorship or being in the limelight or promoting brands puts you in the position of being trolled. Like, that's what you have decided, that I am here, abuse me. It's like posting your picture on Instagram. You have decided, here I am, do what you want to do to me.
Give your opinion.
So yes, give your opinion. So looking at it as a trolling situation should be important. Those gaggles are important because it will take away the anxiety and the idea of thinking that people are actually serious. Most people who troll, sometimes they don't give a shit what they're saying. They don't even care if they're saying the truth or not. They just want to have a nice moment with a comment.
To capitalize on the moment.
Yeah, sometimes, man, even me, sometimes I feel like, on the guy come, but you be like, let me not.
Your banter is special.
You understand? Me, if I could sabula, I really come on the head. But sometimes I'm like, yeah, it's just a comment. Okay. I don't have to put it there. But if I'm on the receiving end, and for me, they have abused me to the point that I reached where now I sometimes throw something there that I know they're going to abuse, so I get active engagement in there.
True.
So it's important to be stoic, have a well-balanced mind, work on your mental health, and be aware that people are ready to throw stones. Just be strong enough with your armor. Yeah.
Okay, so now this is trolling that mostly falls on the influencer side, yeah? So what are some of the challenges that you're bound to face as an influencer on top of trolling, and also maybe as the brand that has chosen this influencer and maybe has not done the right job and people are now beating the whole situation? What are some of the challenges you're going to face in there?
That's been tough. I was an influencer for Prudential, and there was a time people were really dissing Prudential. I don't know if you recall. And I I started thinking, how am I going to make tomorrow's post? Because I am assured guys are going to throw jabs at me. And I had to just realize this is a job. I have KPIs to tick, and actually sometimes negativity hooks you up with some nice engagement.
True.
So why not go ahead? I think you need to be able to look at it as a job. I think the biggest challenge that I've seen is not being paid enough, and you feel like you are doing a lot for the brand than it's paying you. But when they start trolling them, now you're like, I can
afford to let it go.
You don't know that when you defend that brand, there's another brand looking at you defending that brand. And they're like, okay, this guy knows how to defend a brand. So if I'm on his side, chances are that he will defend me even when things are going down the drain. Yeah, so I think that is where it becomes strong. In fact, I think that is where normally a few people who are really strong in the influencer business have gained the most from, where situations are going catastrophic and you're the shining light of the entire project. It helps and boosts you to the different levels. So it's important to look at it from that level of I'm doing a job and I have to execute KPIs, and on top of all this, I need to be the shining light through the process. Even if it hits you, at the end of the day, people will understand you are doing a job. There's a time I posted about Rema saying, Rema is not a good performer. That guy, he has been trolled at Afro Nation. And someone brought up a post from last year when I was posting saying, man, Rema had a good show.
You guys keep receipts.
So the guy threw me in that car. This you, you know. And I was like, man, in the car. I was working, I was making money, and then go. And the guy, everyone laughed at my comment because I said, look at man, me, I was making money. And everyone will understand Nalinkola said. And it just keeps going. People don't care.
It's true from an emerging, perspective. You've really been able to share so much insight with us today. Trend-wise, where do you think influencing is going? What's new? What's popping up?
What are some of the trends they can?
What are some of the trends you're seeing? As a person in this expertise.
Well, not trends as what happens every day, but in the life of an influencer, what should you do to be at your competitive edge?
We need, as an influencer, you have, I think, a lifeline of like 3 years in the influencer business. And I'm looking at it from the point of your influence, the longevity of the projects that you're working on, the amount of plugs that you're dealing with, and even your own age bracket. Because at some point, if you're pushing some brands, there's an age bracket you reach and they're like, guy, you're not the one to communicate anymore. So I think you need to look at the 3 years that people have been working, and as an influencer, what is the next step? Which I think goes into brand partnerships and ownerships. I've seen some people who own the products they influence today. They have either a 10% ownership from the sales or something like that. I think that is where it needs to go. In the hospitality business today, if I go to a bar and I strike a deal of marketing for them, I can either get a one-off payment or I can get a partnership payment where I get a percentage. I think influencing needs to go into that direction. If you are a great influencer and you've been able to get your things going, if I'm like a Lucy Smiles right now, the first thing that I'm going to do is make sure that if I'm going to influence for you, all the bookings that are coming in your system, I need a percentage, you understand? So that I don't depend on my influence and you giving me that 300K. Let me just work my head off, knowing that I have a deal with you for 10 years and I can be an owner in the long run. So that even if my age goes to a point whereby I'm no longer depending on my age, I have other people that I can hire to do the same job for you.
The fringe benefits.
Yeah, otherwise, sometimes you see someone you're like, man, it's over for you. You can't do much.
If you say that on Twitter, they will ask you to in an ad.
No, I've seen guys, there are guys who, man, sometimes you get drained. We have seen everything. We have seen all your nice things that you've done, all your nice hashtags and stuff like that. So it gets to a point also where we start saying negwe all the time. You're just influencing. So in Uganda we have this thing whereby we see you and we know what you're doing because it's a very small country. I think when we see you grow, we also want to support that growth in a way. So influencers, I think, need to look into that next step, which is brand partnerships and ownerships, because I think percentages is the only way you can be able to leverage, even walk around in different areas and talk about the fact that I have passive income that I'm getting from a gig that I got 10 years ago.
I see a lot of product selling online. And, you know, every time a famous influencer speaks about something, they're always selling a product on the back end, which is generating a little bit of income. It's been big with lots of foreign influencers. It's a trend I'm not seeing yet with a lot of Ugandan people. Yet we do have quite big amounts of following.
Yeah, we do. I think many people have not had a chance of entering these corporate businesses and corporate rooms. Corporate rooms also have some people that will be gatekeepers. They'll block you down from doing things. People are not aware of opening partnerships. I think some of our celebrities who have been doing these partnerships in Uganda have been doing them from a very Muntu and C level that you don't really see. There are many people who have deals with Waraji, with sachets. There are many people who have those kind of deals that we don't really see. I think Spice then has water or something like that. You know, all these different people have these deals now. Chili Muntu and Sinyo that we don't see it from the top. And that's why I'm thinking we need to get into that. I think Ep6 has a very good brand he has been working with. I thought you owned it at some point.
Perfume Plus?
No, they were snacks. Yeah, I thought he owned it, and then I found out, no, it's a deal. I'm like, no. You literally own the brand. People in Uganda are buying it because they saw it on you. So it's important to do that. I've seen people like Muiza Sophie who have started their own, shoe business, and I'm like, okay, you started from influencing shoes to owning your own shop. I think that's where we have people who have not taken it to the next level in the corporate world. But if we do strike through those doors in the corporate world, the influencer business is really huge. Yeah.
So does it also come down to what you said earlier, gatekeeping and anyakumanyi that is hindering these influencers from reaching there?
Yeah, you can't stop it. It's a very big problem. I'm telling you, from all different departments. I can't lie to you. I have worked in the entertainment business for now. 13 years, let me just say. And even me, when it comes to hire, man, I need to know you. You understand? And I need to know that if he's going to give you a call, if you work with Maverick, okay, I know you work with Maverick. You understand? Because I trust this setting. There are many fakes that we have around Kampala. You know, guys who come and they can throw you word and you're like, hey, this guy is legit. So I kind of need to know you. So it has also grown into that same framework where we have a lot of plugs and a lot of people who are in the office and they'll block you, they will stop you from doing these things. We have people who are on a really high level of CEO business and they'll block some specific people who are supposed to be getting deals. So it's a big problem. Are we going to fight it? I don't think so. This entire country is corrupt. And you need to understand the corrupt business for you to find your corrupt entity in there also and enjoy
as
it.
candid as it has been said.
Honestly speaking, I can't lie. I can't be like, no, you know what?
But then you see, there's two ways to look at it. Because from what you say, you're not letting in someone because you do not know them.
Yeah.
Also, I believe from the whole conversation we've had, it's not like you're blocking them from reaching where they're going.
Not at all.
But then it's like quality control. So how do people manage to get between quality control and sikuagariza?
Yeah. Number one, I think the one way to break through and get into that quality control situation whereby you are among the people that they pick up on goes to your own effort as an individual effort. It can't be on anyone else. What you invest in yourself is very important. Do you know that all the talent searches in the world, the winner is never really the star?
True.
Because the winner went there to win. The other people went there to just be seen. They just want an opportunity to be seen. That's why they focused on themselves and they try to do them. The winner wanted to shine on the day. But after that, they don't really have too much going for them. So just because you have just started right now, it depends on you as an individual. Are you coming in here so that one day you're interviewed on TV and you say, oh, you know, I started influencer in lockdown. Or are you there so that you net the bambi?
You saw that urban show?
No. Let me tell you something. If you want to add in your placements, you can add in your placements. But the idea is there are chances for everyone when you get into the business, whether you have 1,000 followers or 20,000. But what you do with them every day, what you enact every day, how you roll, who you talk to, who you're friends with, the pictures you post. Let me tell you something. I'm sorry to say this, but if you are the type of person that wants to work with a big company and your pictures don't come out when they're in portrait mode, you're going to have problems.
True. That's true.
Because for us, we are seeing in portrait mode nowadays. You understand? So it's not about the position you've been given, it's what you do with it that will set you into that platform whereby people feel like, oh, this guy is different. I've seen people come up real short. There's, what's his name? This guy who takes pictures.
Naika?
So Nyaika, I didn't know Nyaika 2 years ago. I didn't know who he was. He might have been doing amazing work, but I didn't know who he was. The only thing I knew about him is that like 2 years ago, he started like posting quality content on it. And he gets gigs everywhere. And you realize where's everyone been? This space has been there, open.
Just came in.
He just came in.
Is it the guy that does? Is it a TikTok handle for Party Central?
Yes. Zero
wow.
Chills, yeah.
Zero Chills,
like
yeah.
you saw during the days of when they had opened us, the Tiwa Savage. He was the only one that was posting high quality concerts, videos. And you're like,
capturing those.
And I want to believe at that moment he wasn't being hired. He was simply going there, taking those photos.
I produced the Tiwa Savage show. I gave him his ticket to go and enter and do his thing. You understand? So these guys have been able to say, I have this opportunity. What am I going to do with it? How am I going to stand out and shine? How do I make back with this small money, small number that I have to grow bigger? It has never been about.
Would you call Nike an influencer?
Yeah, he definitely is. In very many ways, he influences events, and there's a post and pre-influencing. You can influence an event, and you can post-influence it. I think he's one of the best post-influencers. Because when your event happens, you want to see it on Nyaika's page.
True.
That's very important.
He's really good at picking those key moments.
And he's consistent.
That drive emotion.
Yes. Now there's a new photographer, Oken.
Yes, the pictures that.
Yeah, the one who has been training with the pictures. Where has that space been?
That tag, the pictures that someone takes, I don't remember the name.
Like where has he been? Where has that space been? It's been there. So there's still so many little gaps that you sometimes just need to allow the idea capture you and go into it and make sure that you stand out of the crowd, because Kampala is very small. Everyone might be fighting the same thing you're fighting. Fight something bigger. Trust me, you stand out always.
Exactly.
In my opinion, I feel like what's failing a lot of these people in the influencer industry is the fact that people are treating it like a gig instead of professionalizing or specializing and say, okay, this is my job and I can actually make good money out of it. So people go and do whatever they want to do and come back to it as a side gig, which I do not see, for example, with Nyaika. Nyaika takes it full on. You see him at places and people know him for his photos.
There are many people who just got into influencing. The guy was drunk, they told him, post something, I give you 30K. So the guy thinks, oh, it's this easy. No, it's not that easy. You need to pre-program your content. You need to have content of the next 3 days today. And that can only happen if you're intentional and you're looking at it, like you say, like a job, like something that you can execute for life. My child is going to grow and I would want him to be an influencer. How do I design him now? I need to be intentional.
Exactly.
Buy him the right equipment and all those things. Whatever he wants to do, if it's a gamer or whatever it is, in that influencer world, he has to look at it like this is your lifeline. You could actually make back for this.
Exactly. It's a really open market, open industry. Who are you following at the moment? Who's your go-to influencer? Let's say from a health perspective, whatever.
Ugandan?
No, could be international. Someone
Let's look at Ugandan. At least top 5.
Top 5. So I've always been a fan of B-Wall. I think B-Wall has done an amazing job for years. He's really always on point. I'm going to surprise you with this, but there's the girl called Uwera. Is it Uwera?
Linda.
Yeah?
Uwera Linda.
Uwera Linda.
Yeah.
I like the fact that she didn't give a damn what you think of her content, and I like that because I find like it's very resilient, and she does it because she's having fun. So I really like that. I'm struggling to remember people here. But I also think another person is Pepper Faisal. Yeah, Pepper Faisal.
Billboard King.
Pepper, I've been watching Pepper working in different. He knows how to work influencer business from different demographics of companies. Like he can work with a shoe company, then today we work with a milk company.
I like his segment on LinkedIn on billboards.
True. Exactly.
It's really picked up.
So he kind of keeps it going, and you like what he's doing, and he does it really well. Let me just give those top 3 because the other ones I might just be far-fetching right now, and I might not tell you the truth.
Stop.
Yeah, but those 3 they stand out for me because they give me a chance to see them as someone who is at work, and they're giving me good content and stuff like that. I think Ep6 is really good. Ep6 reached a point whereby I started seeing him more of an influencer than a musician, and that is super dope. So yeah.
Like to throw in your buddy Selector J.
Yeah, no, Selector J. I like Selector J. I think Selector J learned how to do majority of his work from the fact that he is able to be consistent. His job is he can be consistent with it. He knows how to know that on Monday I'm doing this, Tuesday I'm doing this, on this day. So even you as a follower, you kind of follow his program, and it's easy for you to flow into him. But he definitely needs to do better as an influencer. I think he's a bigger brand. I think Selector J can be bigger than what he is. He's playing at a very small field. Many people look at him like a big dog, but I've always seen him to be, I mean, he should be owning the business of DJing in Uganda.
I believe so too.
You know, so he's currently still playing at a small field, and it's because I don't think he has all the people that have mentored him on that scale. So everyone who's telling him is younger guys like me is like, now what do you know? Why are you telling me? But I think if Selector had an opportunity of growing bigger than that and everything, I worked with him for years, and he's one of the most prolific professionals you can ever work with. So I definitely, man, I respect Selector a lot. Yeah.
Mackenzie, man.
Yeah.
It's been an honor.
Anytime.
Thank you so much.
Anytime.
We were, me and Mr. B they were like, oh man, what are we going to host? Okay, let's tell people, guys were on a sweater plan. And I said, you know what? What was the third episode? Leveraging social capital.
Social capital.
Second one. Third one. Yeah. So I said, let me leverage my social capital a bit. Let me reach out to you. I reached out, and you were positive. You're like, it's cool, I got time. You always have something to share.
You see it very well. I met him a couple of years ago, and the guy is cool. Why not?
Why not?
I'm really, really thankful for the opportunity to have you on the podcast.
Dope. I'm grateful.
I think this is the first time I've met him in person. I've always been a big fan. Followed him everywhere. Listened to him on radio.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Nice to have you here.
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you.
Who would you like to see next in this chair?
Who do I need to see next in this chair? Get Susan Nava. Can you get Susan Nava here?
I think someone has asked us
Is
about
it the
Susan.
second time? Yeah. Susan Nava or Nava Gray?
That was Nava.
There's Nava Gray. There's Nava Gray, but Susan Nava. That's the most brilliant brain you talk to on the microphone. Yeah.
If I were him, and you asked me, I would say Selector J.
That's my guy. That's my guy. But we'll just show up on the podcast. Maybe there. But on a microphone, you set up in front of him, you'll be like, see.
All right, man. It's been great having you guys. The Maverick podcast. Click our link in the bio. Like, follow, share, subscribe. See you again next week. Always on time, always on point. Mr. B, where are we going today?
Wahala Wednesday.
As always. Mackenzie has to get sleep.
I will follow him because once you follow him, you're following good things.
Alright, we'll be with DJ Aluda today at Thrones for Wahala Wednesday. Problems are here, problems have come, and we're here to solve them.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. Cheers.